Howdy, Possum Patty here, and I'm junk journaling. My little Busy Bees mini journal is finished. I'm going to do a flip through of this very chunky journal. I haven't made anything to keep it closed yet, but it does close to about that much. Okay, let's look at the cover first. I found this material at Joann Fabrics. It was a fat quarter, and it was on sale. I got it for like $1 or something, but it had these cute little bees on it, and I added some bling to the center of the flowers. On the back, I put just a scrap of paper with some pansies distressed around the edge, and I did put a layer of Mod Podge on there. On the front, I put Busy Bees, and instead of putting B-E-E, like the little bee, I just put a B, the letter B, because this journal wound up to be so much more than just the little bees. It's also butterflies and birds and bears and bows and buttons. Now this was a pasta box, and in the little window I put the little flowers and the little bee stamp flying up to the flowers. The inside of the cover, I have this old material with some little bees and bugs on them. And that's the same front and back. And there's 2 signatures, and the pages are about 2.5 by 3.5 inches. So here's some more of that material. I changed the signatures around, so even though I went through the first signature in the last video, I'm going to go through all of them again. And I started each signature and ended each signature with the same bee material that's on the spine, and added little blings to the centers of the flowers. So the first page is a pocket, and in the pocket I have a journaling card, and I painted this side bright yellow and black to match the bees, and on this side I used this floral paper just as a decoration. And I bought a few presents for myself at Joann Fabrics, and I'm sorry, this came from Hobby Lobby. We went to Hobby Lobby, and I got some floral papers for 25 cents each, and I also got a corner punch. So this card has rounded corners because now I have a corner punch, and I use a little bit of this paper because it has a black background on it throughout the journal. Oh, and the other bee was for blooms. So there's lots of flower pictures. So that journaling card goes in the first pocket. I made a belly band out of that floral paper, and inside I put a little journaling card. And this was just from scrap paper. The pages are all made from scraps that I had left over from my Vera Bradley purse journals when I made the pages for that. Plus, I rummaged around in the closet and found some more scraps, like this gray piece of paper here. So the only thing I actually bought to make this journal with, because I was making it out of scraps, was this one piece of 25-cent floral paper. I had these butterfly stickers from the Dollar Tree, and the bling is from the Dollar Tree too, and this flip is just made with scraps of paper that I had. On this side I had found these little tiny note cards, and this is what I used to put in the window on the front, and I just left it as a note card so you can journal in there. And I made the pocket out of the envelopes that came with the card, but I put a little piece of that floral paper and a yellow polka dotted ribbon for trim. On this page, when I did the flip before, I hadn't added this piece of journaling paper to the background. I thought it was just too much green, it was too plain. And this is a scrap from a birthday card, and this is just a scrap of scrapbook paper with a little journaling on the back, a space for a little journaling on the back. That goes in the tuck. And I did this flip before, but I added the flowers across the bottom on this page. And this was from a thank you card. And the butterfly was from the thank you card. And I put a little tiny blue bow. And on the other side, I have a saying from a tea bag. The principal ingredient of life is love. And I added some blue stickles for a little bling. And that goes in the tuck. The next page was just some brown scrapbook paper. I think it's cardstock. And I rounded the corners because now I have a quarter punch. And the bee was from an old nature book. And the honeycomb was from an old stencil that I already had. On this side, I just drew some lines for journaling. The sunflower stickers were the two-dimensional ones from the Dollar Tree. And I added a snippet at the top with some ribbon and mulberry paper and a little piece of lace from the Dollar Tree and a button. I added to the honey jar page this little flat back gem because it reminded me of the color of honey. Just add a little bling to the page. I have my little bee stamp and my honey jar stamp just stressed around the edge. On this page, this is a flower from the birthday card. I used one birthday card and 2 thank you cards in making this journal. So these flowers are from one of the cards. And I put my little bee there. That wasn't there before. I added that on. And I made a tuck out of this part of the birthday card on the pink cardstock that was a scrap. And I made this journaling paper. And I added these wings, and these are the Tim Holtz translucent butterfly wings. On this side, I have some purple computer paper and a scrap of scrapbooking paper. I think this is actually more like stationery paper with the pansies on it. Same as what's on the back of the journal here. But I did add these little purple pansies to the purple polka dotted ribbon. That wasn't there before when I did the flip. And there were 2 pages. There was a heart and a star that didn't have anything with a bee on it. So I changed it, and on this page I put a bear bearing a birthday present and a little butterfly. So I wanted it to fit in with the rest of the journal. This is the center of the first signature. You can see where I sewed it in, and I just used some wax thread to sew it in. I did add some bling to this feather, and these are real feathers on this side. Little tiny feathers. My favorite is this one with the little green spots on it. These are real feathers. And this is some material, scrap material that's probably been in the basement for 20 years. And I made pockets, and both the journaling cards are the same. And since the last flip, though, I added some stickles to this side that has a little bird stamp. This is a Stamping Up stamp. And some feathers on the back, and these were stencils I got at the Dollar Tree. And you get it was like five or six stencils of different feathers for $1. And the pocket on this side has the same. I just added bling to it. And the star page, I added a little butterfly and some blooms across the bottom. And this is the other side of the pansy paper, and I did add a little butterfly and some pink flowers up at top on the purple polka dotted ribbon. This bear was from the birthday card and also these flowers, but I did add this little bee since the last flip. And in this side we have a tall pocket with a journaling card, a little ribbon at the top. Another little bear, cute little bears. And little sparkly flowers from the birthday card. On this brown page, during the last flip, was just this beehive and the little bee. And I added a little bit of lace, and in there I tucked in this little tiny pad that I made with some scrap paper with sunflowers and little tiny pages to write on. And that just tucks up in there. This is the other side of the brown cardstock, and I have lines on there for journaling, and I had already put these two stamps, the butterfly and the sunflower, but I added this little bit of ribbon. So we have this yellow polka dotted ribbon, and on top of that another piece of ribbon and a little orange button. This is the other side of the honeycomb paper, and this was a two-dimensional sunflower sticker from the Dollar Tree. And on this page, I already had this Stamping Up stamp of the bird with the little birdhouse made out of a gourd, but I added this green butterfly up in the corner. This was a saying from the birthday card. I've learned that bad times are easier when shared, and that the sharing makes love grow deeper. But the tag inside is made of a scrap of paper from the gnome journal that I'm working on. And on this side, I used a primary school paper stamp to make some lines and put a little sunflower sticker in the corner. Distressed it with orange. I distress with all different colors. I don't always use the brown. Sometimes I like colors. And this side is just the same as the other gray page. The pocket made from the envelope, a little bit of floral paper, and the polka dot ribbon, and the little card. So those two pages are exactly the same, really. I don't usually do that, but I just love those little cards. And then I found some other scraps with butterflies on them. So I made a belly band, and I put one of those Dollar Tree butterflies there. And in the belly band, I used the same, it's like cardstock. It's got a little bit of bling on the butterflies, and I just added a little piece of journal paper. This is the end of the first signature, and it's the same as that with the little journaling card. And there's the material with the bling and the journaling card there. So lots of little tiny places to journal. This is the second signature, and I used a little bit of the sparkly ribbon that I got at Michael's that was on sale. And I made a flip up from the bumblebee paper, put a little bling on the flowers. I have some notebook paper, so double fabric flip, because there's some black netting and another page. And then on this black cardstock, I put a flower from that floral page that I bought at Hobby Lobby. On the inside, I glued a piece of pink cardstock that punched the corners. I had gotten, it was 2 punches, I believe it was, Martha Stewart punches at a tag sale one day. And I haven't used them very much, and I'm not really good at it, but I practiced 2 corners, put a little piece of striped scrapbooking papers to write on, and added a little diamond of these butterflies from the scrap paper. On this side, I have some of the blue scrapbooking paper. So it's like lines for journaling, added ribbons and bows, little tiny blue bows, and glued it to the back of this wood grain scrap paper. And here's the other part of that Martha Stewart set. It makes like a lace edge. And I wasn't very good at it, but I was just practicing on this, and I wound up not using it, so I put the scrap here in my little book. And I made this special belly band out of squares of material. And it's like a green check, and this one has little tiny sunflowers on it. And in the belly band, I have a journaling page. And I dye my journaling pages with watercolors. And these have a little bit of a shimmer to them, as you can see. And put a little scrap of a sunflower up in the corner. This is the same scrap of stationery paper with the sunflowers, and I added this butterfly from my Dollar Tree sticker stash. And this page, I don't think I did anything more to this page. This was a sticker from the Dollar Tree, dyed with the watercolors and a little bee stamp. Here's another one of the sunflowers from that stationery paper. And I did a little corner flip up. And this is a double flip. First there's a little hive. And then we have the striped paper with the little bees. And in the pocket, I made a round tag with journaling on the back and a sequined little flower on the top there, distressed around the edge with green. I used the pink striped paper, like journaling paper, on this page. And this is another card from this set of cardstock with the butterflies and the flowers. Used the striped paper for journaling and did my little bee stamp there. This time I did them in pink. I think this is raspberry from Ranger Distress Inks. Cut out a little butterfly, put it up in the corner. There's a butterfly on the pocket here. On this page, I just put some dark black stripes in the background. And I cut out a vase from a piece of scrapbook paper. And I took apart the sticker. These sunflowers were in a big gray bucket. And I pulled them off of that. This is the Dollar Tree sunflower stickers. And put them on this piece of scrap paper to make it look like a vase with sunflowers in it. This I made from the divider from an old address book. Really pretty dividers with birds and nests and eggs and feathers. And I put a little tiny skinny journaling card in there with some scraps I had left over from other pages I did. Now this is fun. I cut out one of the bears from that birthday card. It was a big birthday card, lots of images of bears and flowers on it. And I put a little magnet in there. So this opens up for journaling. And I have a little stamp in each corner. This is the same stamp that's on the pink heart page. And this is with some shiny yellow watercolor. And it folds back in. And that closes with the little magnet on there. On the other side, I cut this flower out, the little ladybug from the birthday card. That's to hide the little magnet that's underneath. And made a tuck out of it. In the tuck I have this little notepad I made with a nuthatch on it. And blueberries on that side. And little tiny paper for journaling. I just tucked that right in there. Blue paper here, this blue cardstock. This used to be the first page, but I rearranged everything. And all I did was stamp this with that primary school paper stamp, stamping up little bird, added this pink sequin butterfly, made a tuck from some polka dotted ribbon and some scrap paper. And this is my little tiny, tiny postcard. It has a buttercup on this side. And this is a real canceled stamp there. And I made it just look like a little postcard, and it says hello. And that goes in the little tuck. On this side I made a pocket from the paper from the address book. And inside is a journaling card. And this was a thank you card with an impressionistic painting of a sunflower garden. And more from that card on this side. This is a very large pocket. The beautiful sunflowers. And this is a pocket with a journaling card, a little bit of ribbon, and some more of those beautiful sunflowers. This is the other side of the blue cardstock stamped with lines. And this is a tuck I made from the cardstocks that I found with the butterflies and flowers on them. And I made this little tiny, tiny envelope And I copied this from Sharon at Connections of Lives and Interest 2020. And this is made from pink or peachy color parchment paper. And the tuck is just a cutout, little flower, apple blossom. And inside is a tiny, tiny card with a butterfly. And pink cardstock with some lines on it for writing. And that just goes up in the tuck. On this side I made an altered paper clip with one of the bears from the birthday card. And I just put a piece of scrap paper for journaling. And did some distressing around the edge with some kind of bluish green ink. On this side I made a belly band from crossed ribbon. And there's cut out a bluebird from that cardstock from that address book. Put a little bling from the dollar store in the corners. And again, using that cardstock from the address book. There's a picture of a robin's nest with blue eggs and journaling on the side. And this flower is from the birthday card. I wanted to make a little tiny ruffle. I used this kind of bluish green material and put a little matching butterfly and a little bit of notebook paper for journaling. And on this side, I saw a couple people have done these little fold-out tucked papers. And you open them up, and there's space for journaling inside. This is just dyed notebook paper with some pink shimmery watercolors. And you fold it back up and tuck it in. One thing I learned making this though, see, I doubled it by gluing this paper to the back, and it came out kind of thick. I think this works a little better when you use just the thin paper and not two layers of paper. I like the pink lined paper for journaling. I added a little bee stamp there and a little tab made from the cardstock with the butterflies. And the edge of the paper just has a pink flower on there. These papers are from the same set. I made the tab double-sided. This tuck was made from paper from the gnome. Here's my bird clock, sorry. So this is just a scrap from my gnome journal and a little tuck here with a little tiny notebook with some pink paper for writing. And a blue journaling page with a two-dimensional sunflower and a little bee stamp up in the corner. And on this side, just a sunflower, stationery, a little stamp with a ladybug and a little sticker with a ladybug and a little stamp with the bee. There's the other side of that wood grain paper that I was practicing this little lace edge on. And this nature two-dimensional sticker is from the Dollar Tree. And I made a little journaling card inside with that floral paper. Some of that blue lined paper, and I made a little snippet with some mulberry paper and a sparkly ribbon and just scrap paper and a little blue button. And this page is the same as the other one. And the very last page, added a little bling to the flower there. This is a big flower from that birthday card, and it's a tuck, and inside you have a journaling card. And on this side, some flowers I cut out from that one floral page. And there she is, my mini busy bees bees, birds, butterflies, bears, blooms. Mini, mini, mini journal. This was a lot of fun. All right. Thanks for coming along today, and happy junk journaling. Bye-bye now.